May 14th, 1995, Sunday night, 2:17 a.m. Brooklyn, Fulton Street and Bedford Avenue, the intersection where everything almost changed, where the notorious Biggie almost died, where a war almost started, where one decision prevented everything. But nobody knows, because the bullets that could have been fired stayed in the chambers, because the blood that could have been spilled stayed in the veins, because Biggie said one word, don't. The black Mercedes sedan sits at a red light, engine idling, music off, just the sound of Brooklyn at 2 in the morning, distant sirens, a car alarm 3 blocks away, the hum of streetlights, the city that never sleeps doing its insomnia routine. 4 people in the car, Biggie in the back seat, driver up front, and next to the driver D-Roc. Real name Dwayne Robinson, 6'2", 230 pounds, former Marine, 3 tours, came back to Brooklyn with skills nobody wants to talk about, skills that keep people alive, skills that end threats. He's been Biggie's security for 8 months, since Ready to Die made Biggie too famous to move around Brooklyn unprotected. D-Roc doesn't like being in Brooklyn at 2 a.m., doesn't like stopping at red lights in Brooklyn at 2 a.m., doesn't like anything about this situation. They're coming from a studio session, should have left 3 hours ago, but Biggie wanted to finish a track, wanted to get it right. And when Biggie wants to work, you wait. You don't rush genius. But now it's 2:17, and they're sitting at a red light in a neighborhood where Biggie has enemies, where people know his car, where someone with a grudge could be anywhere. D-Roc's hand rests on his hip, on the Glock 19 he carries, always carries, licensed, legal, but ready, always ready. He scans the intersection, left, right, behind, looking for threats, looking for anything that doesn't belong. Training kicks in automatically. Assess, identify, respond. It's why Biggie hired him. It's why he's good at this job, because he never stops looking, never stops being ready. The light is still red. 30 seconds, 40. Brooklyn traffic lights take forever at this hour. Like the city wants you to sit, wants you to be vulnerable, wants you to wait. D-Roc checks the rearview mirror, sees headlights, a vehicle approaching from behind. Not unusual. It's a street. Cars use streets. But something feels wrong. The vehicle is moving too slowly, deliberate, purposeful. D-Roc's hand moves from resting on his hip to gripping the Glock, not drawing it, just ready, just prepared. Big! We got a vehicle behind us. Moving weird. Biggie looks up from his phone, looks out the back window. Can't see much, just headlights. What kind of vehicle? SUV. Dark color. Tinted windows. Coming up slow on the passenger side. D-Roc's voice is calm, professional. No panic, just information, just facts. The driver tenses, his hands tighten on the steering wheel. He's not security. He's just a driver. This isn't his job. What do we do? Nothing yet. Just watch. D-Roc's eyes track the SUV in the side mirror. It's pulling up alongside them, stopping, right next to them. Window level, door level, kill shot level. I don't like this. Biggie's voice is quieter now, alert. The relaxed post-studio vibe is gone, replaced by something else, something sharper. I know. Neither do I. D-Roc's gun is out now, down low, out of sight, but out, ready. His finger is outside the trigger guard. Marine training. You don't touch the trigger until you're ready to fire, but you're ready to be ready. The SUV stops completely, right next to them, 3 feet away, close enough to see, close enough to hear, close enough to kill. The passenger window is rolled down halfway, and through that halfway rolled window, D-Roc sees exactly what he feared. A gun, not pointed down, not hidden, pointed at them, at the car, at Biggie. A pistol, can't tell the make from this angle, doesn't matter. All guns kill the same. Time does something strange, slows down, speeds up, exists differently. D-Roc's training takes over. Threat identified, response required. His gun comes up, aims at the SUV, at the window, at whoever is holding that gun. His finger moves to the trigger. 3 pounds of pressure. That's all it takes. 3 pounds. And this whole situation changes. 3 pounds and bullets start flying. 3 pounds and someone dies. What are you doing? Biggie's voice cuts through, sharp, urgent. They got a gun on us. Don't. One word. Biggie says it firmly, clearly, not yelling, not panicking, just stating, commanding. Don't shoot. D-Roc's finger stays on the trigger. Big there. I said don't. Louder now. Final. Put the gun down. They're aiming at us. D-Roc's voice rises. Frustration, disbelief, training screaming one thing, Biggie saying another. And you shooting back starts a war. Put the gun down. Biggie leans forward. His hand reaches out, grabs D-Roc's wrist. Not hard, not fighting, just firm, just certain. I'm serious. Don't shoot. D-Roc's whole body is tense, every muscle ready, every instinct firing. Shoot first, ask questions later. Protect the principal. That's the job. That's the mission. But Biggie's hand is on his wrist. Biggie's voice is in his ear. And Biggie is saying don't. The standoff lasts 10 seconds. Feels like 10 hours. D-Roc's gun aimed at the SUV. The SUV's gun aimed at them. Nobody moving. Nobody breathing. Just two vehicles at a red light in Brooklyn at 2:21 in the morning with guns pointed and fingers on triggers. And the whole world balanced on 3 pounds of pressure. The person in the SUV says something. Can't hear the words, just sees lips moving. Then the window rolls up, slow, deliberate, and the SUV pulls away. Not fast, not screeching tires, just drives away, makes a right turn, disappears into Brooklyn night. Gone. The light turns green. The driver doesn't move, can't move, frozen, shaking. D-Roc's gun is still up, still aimed at where the SUV was. His hand is shaking. Adrenaline, fear, rage, all of it flooding his system at once. Drive. Biggie's voice is calm, too calm, unnaturally calm. The light's green. Drive. The driver manages to press the gas. The Mercedes moves forward, through the intersection, down Fulton Street, away from the moment, away from what almost happened, what didn't happen, what could have happened. D-Roc finally lowers his gun, doesn't holster it, just lowers it. His hands are shaking badly now, post-adrenaline crash. His breathing is ragged. What the fuck was that? That was you almost getting us all killed. Biggie sits back. His voice is still calm, but there's something underneath, something hard. They had a gun on us. They were going to. Maybe, maybe not. But you shooting back guarantees it. Guarantees they shoot. Guarantees we shoot. Guarantees bullets flying on a Brooklyn street at 2 a.m. Guarantees somebody dies. Maybe us, maybe them, maybe some kid in an apartment 3 blocks away catching a stray through their window. You want that on you? D-Roc turns in his seat, looks at Biggie. My job is to protect you. That's what you pay me for. My job is to not get people killed. That's what I pay myself for. Biggie meets his eyes. You shooting back doesn't protect me. It escalates. It starts something that doesn't end. You know what happens next if you shoot? They shoot back. We shoot again. Then their friends come looking. Then my friends get involved. Then it's a war. Then people are dying every week. Brooklyn burning. And for what? Because somebody aimed a gun at me at a red light, and I'm still alive anyway. You got lucky. D-Roc's voice is tight, angry. They could have shot. They had you. Clean shot. They could have ended you right there. But they didn't, because they weren't sure. Because maybe they were just trying to scare me. Maybe they were making a point. Maybe they wanted me to shoot first, so they could justify what comes next. I don't know. But I know that nobody died tonight. Nobody got shot. Nobody's mother is getting a call at 3 a.m. And that's because nobody pulled a trigger. That's not protection. That's luck. D-Roc holsters his gun. That's gambling with your life. Everything is gambling with my life. Being famous is gambling. Being in Brooklyn is gambling. Making music that pisses people off is gambling. But I'm not gambling with other people's lives. I'm not starting wars because I'm scared. I'm not getting people killed because somebody threatened me. They drive in silence for 5 minutes. 10. The driver is still shaking, still processing, still trying to understand what just happened. D-Roc stares out the window, his jaw tight, his hand still trembling slightly. Biggie looks at his phone, scrolling, like nothing happened, like they didn't just have guns aimed at them, like this is normal, like this is life. When they reach Biggie's apartment, D-Roc gets out, opens Biggie's door, professional, doing his job, scans the street, checks the entrance, clears the path. Biggie gets out, starts walking to his building. Big! D-Roc calls after him. Biggie stops, turns. Yeah, I can't do this. D-Roc's voice is flat, defeated. Do what? Protect someone who won't let me protect them. I can't do my job if you're going to stop me from doing my job. So I'm done. I quit. Effective now. Biggie looks at him for a long moment. You sure? I'm sure. I can't watch you die because you're too principled to shoot back. I can't carry that. Find someone else. D-Roc turns, walks to his car, gets in, drives away, doesn't look back. Biggie watches him go, stands there on the sidewalk, alone, no security, just him. Then he goes inside, up to his apartment, and tries to forget that for 10 seconds tonight. Someone had a gun aimed at his head, and he told his security not to shoot back. Tries to forget the look on D-Roc's face, the betrayal, the disbelief, the fear. 2 weeks pass. Biggie hires new security. 3 guys, bigger than D-Roc, more aggressive, ready to shoot first and ask questions never. They last 4 days. Biggie fires them. Too trigger happy, too eager, too likely to start exactly what he's trying to prevent. He goes through 5 security guys in 2 weeks. None of them fit. None of them understand. None of them get it. May 29th. 1995. 2 weeks and 1 day after the red light. Biggie's at his apartment. Evening. There's a knock on the door. He opens it. D-Roc standing there, hands in pockets, looking uncomfortable. "Can I come in?" D-Roc asks. "Yeah." Biggie steps aside. D-Roc enters. They sit. Don't speak for a minute. Just sit. Finally, D-Roc speaks. "I've been thinking about that night, about what you said, about what you did, and I think maybe you're right." "About what?" "About the war, about what happens if I shoot." I played it out in my head 1,000 times. Me shooting. What comes next? And every time, it ends bad. Really bad. People dead. Streets on fire. Mothers crying. And maybe you're dead anyway. Maybe me shooting doesn't save you. Maybe it just makes everything worse. D-Roc looks at his hands. I was trained to eliminate threats, to shoot first, to win. But you're thinking about what happens after winning, what winning costs. And that's something I never learned. "So why are you here?" Biggie asks gently. "Because I want my job back, but different. I want to protect you your way, not my way, not the Marine way. Your way, even if it scares the shit out of me, even if it means not shooting when every instinct says shoot. Because I've been watching the news, been seeing what's happening in LA, in New York. The beef, the violence, the bodies piling up. And I realized you're trying to not be part of that. You're trying to survive without adding to it. And that's harder than just shooting back. That takes more guts than I have, but maybe I can learn." Biggie considers. "You understand that working for me means sometimes not shooting even when you should, means trusting my judgment over yours, means protecting me by not escalating instead of by eliminating threats." "I understand." D-Roc nods. "And I'll do it your way. Okay, you're hired." Again, Biggie stands, extends his hand. D-Roc shakes it. D-Roc works for Biggie for the next 21 months, until March 9th, 1997, until Los Angeles, until the night Biggie gets shot and D-Roc isn't there. D-Roc was supposed to be on that trip, was supposed to be in that car, but Biggie told him to stay in New York, told him he'd be fine, told him LA was safe, told him not to worry. When D-Roc gets the call at 4:37 a.m., New York time, that Biggie has been shot, he breaks, completely breaks, throws his phone, punches a wall, breaks his hand, screams until his voice is gone, because he wasn't there, because Biggie told him to stay, because he listened, because the one time Biggie needed protection, D-Roc was 3,000 miles away. At the funeral, D-Roc stands in the back, doesn't sit, can't sit, just stands, watching, grieving, carrying weight that's crushing him. After the service, Puffy finds him. "You okay?" "No." D-Roc's voice is hollow. "I should have been there. I should have gone to LA. I should have. He told you to stay. He wanted you to stay. This isn't on you." Puffy puts a hand on D-Roc's shoulder. He's dead because he wouldn't let people protect him properly. He's dead because he was too principled, too good, too worried about starting wars. And someone who didn't care about any of that killed him anyway. D-Roc wipes his eyes. I keep thinking about that night, at the red light, when I wanted to shoot, and he said don't. Maybe I should have. Maybe if I'd shot back then, word would have spread. Don't fuck with Biggie. His security shoots. Maybe that would have scared off whoever shot him in LA. Maybe he'd still be alive. Or maybe you'd both be dead. Maybe that SUV shoots back. Maybe Biggie dies at that red light in May instead of in LA in March. Maybe the war he was trying to prevent happens anyway, and 10 more people die too. You don't know? Nobody knows. Puffy's voice is firm. What I know is Biggie made choices. He chose not to shoot back. He chose not to escalate. He chose peace over war. And someone killed him for it. But that doesn't make his choice wrong. It makes the world wrong. D-Roc nods. Doesn't believe it, but nods. 16 years later, 2013, D-Roc is interviewed for a documentary. Gray in his beard now. Older. Tired. They ask about working for Biggie. About what it was like. About memorable moments. D-Roc tells the story. About May 14th, 1995. About the red light. about the SUV, about the gun aimed at Biggie, about wanting to shoot, about Biggie saying don't, about quitting, about coming back, about learning to protect someone by not shooting. The interviewer asks, "Do you think Biggie made the right choice that night?" D-Roc thinks for a long time. "I think Biggie made the only choice he could make and still be Biggie. He wasn't willing to start a war to save himself. He wasn't willing to get other people killed to stay alive. And that's who he was. He'd rather die than be responsible for someone else dying. And he did die. And part of me will always wonder if shooting back that night would have changed things, would have saved him. But another part knows that if he'd let me shoot, he wouldn't have been Biggie anymore. He'd have been just another rapper willing to kill to survive. And maybe that person would still be alive. But it wouldn't be Christopher Wallace. It wouldn't be the man I knew. It wouldn't be worth it." So you think he was right? I think he was brave. Braver than anyone I ever met in the Marines. Braver than anyone I've ever known. Because it's easy to shoot back. It's easy to escalate. It's easy to protect yourself by killing threats. What's hard is choosing not to. What's hard is saying I'd rather die than start a war. What's hard is meaning it. And Big meant it. And he died for it. And I'll spend the rest of my life wondering if I should have shot anyway. If I should have saved him despite himself. But I know he'd never forgive me if I did, because that's not who he was. And I loved him too much to make him be someone else. The documentary airs. Millions watch. See D-Roc tell the story. See him cry while telling it. See him carry the weight 16 years later. And people understand something about Biggie they didn't understand before. That he wasn't just talented, wasn't just charismatic, wasn't just the king of New York. He was someone who chose principle over survival, who chose peace over war, who chose other people's lives over his own. That's the story of the red light. The story of don't shoot. The story of 10 seconds when everything could have changed. When bullets could have flown. When a war could have started, but didn't. Because Biggie said one word, don't, and meant it, and lived by it, and died by it, and proved that sometimes the hardest thing to do is nothing. Sometimes the bravest choice is don't. Sometimes survival isn't worth what it costs. And sometimes, just sometimes, one word can prevent a war, even if it can't prevent a death.